This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, sir. Manjunath sir, can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, dear staff members of various colleges. KLE Society Basav Kore BCA College has organized 10 days online faculty development program, and today is the first day of an event. With a special excitement, I am pleased to welcome Dr. Manjunath sir to our online program for the session on trends in data management. The brief biography of Dr. Manjunath sir is already have shared to all of you through WhatsApp and email. Without taking much of his time, briefly I introduce Manjunath sir. Sir is having close to 20 years of experience in the software industry and academics. He is currently working as a professor and dean external relations at BMS Institute of Technology, Bangalore. He has worked at a different organizations such as Acharya Institute of Technology, Wipro Technologies, SJBIT, and Accenture Services. Sir has completed BE in Computer Science in the year 2001, MTech in Computer Science in the year 2004, and he has awarded PhD in Computer Science from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore in the year 2015. Sir has delivered more than 41 invited talks. He has organized more than 25 workshops and seminars. He has 64 research papers published in reputed international journals, 3 papers in international conferences, 2 book chapters, and currently he is guiding 6 research scholars. His areas of interest are database, data warehouse system, data mining applications, big data, and cloud computing. He has written 9 research proposals worth of 1.07 crore to VGST, AICT, and CSI minor projects. Sir has awarded as a best employer from Acharya Institute of Technology and also awarded best consultant as a dear boss and feather in my cap awards from Wipro Technologies. He is a member of Institute of Engineer, life member in Indian Society for Technical Education, life member of International Association of Digital Information and Wireless Communication. He has deputed to USA to work with various projects for 2 years. With this brief introduction on behalf of KLE Society, Basav Kore BCA College, and my own behalf, I welcome Dr. Manjunath sir. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Over to you, sir.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank the KLE Society BCA College Chikodi management and my close friend Allu sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity so that I can disseminate my knowledge which I have acquired through my academia and industry. So before I proceed with the formal presentation, first of all, I would like to hearty welcome you all to my presentation. So I want to keep it very brief that I want to give glimpses of the data management. The organizers have given 2 sessions, so that I wanted to use it very effectively to disseminate the importance, the opportunities, the way we can mold ourselves and our student community from the data management perspective. So this is what my agenda is all about. So with this brief note, I mean, probably I will move on to my formal presentation. Again, I want to thank all the organizers. They have, prepared nice, wonderful, the flyers, the brochures, and all that. And thank you very much for technical support people also. I think they have put it in a nice way so that in yesterday, I mean, today morning they have tested also. I think yeah, it's good. So first of all, principals are being Hallur sir. I know that he should be able to do wonderful activities in the similar lines in coming days. So with this small wish and note, so I'll move on to my presentation. Okay, yeah, good. Thank you. I'll share, and I think I have shared my presentation. Good. So everybody are able
Yeah.
to see my presentation.
Yes.
Yeah, good. So I mean, one note for my audience that if anybody wanted to ask question in between, please I request you to put it into the chat so that we'll summarize, and probably during the conclusion remarks or during the end of the presentation, we'll take up a few questions, one or two questions. Okay. So with this, let's move on to the presentation. I think probably people are able to see my first slide. One second, I have small alt tab. I want to see this. One second, how to minimize. One second, hold on. Yep, yeah, great. I'm good to go. Probably this is my first slide of my presentation, which talks about data management trends. If you see that there is a person who is sitting in the center with the catchy word called as data management. Probably you can think that yourself. Above that, so we have data integration, data architecture, data quality, data warehousing, business intelligence, data standards, data security, data sharing, master data management, and data governance. So this is all about what a data management is all about. So this is a title image which I wanted to present it to all. So with this, now I'll move on to the next slide. One second, hold on line. Share something else. Nothing. I want to go to the next slide. There is some technical problem. Yeah. This is the code for the day. There is some delay. Please bear with me. Or else I'll do one thing. I'll just switch off my webcam so that it consumes less data. Yeah. We'll start with the code of the day. The first quote says that data is a precious thing and will last longer than the systems themselves. It is said by a famous person called as Tim Berners-Lee, who is founder of WWW, that is World Wide Web. He says data is precious. Data is precious and will last longer than the systems themselves. That is the importance of data, he says. The second quote, data is the new science. Data is the new science. Big data holds the answer. Data is the new science. Big data holds the answer, which is said by, again, a famous personality called as Patrick Gelsinger, who is CEO of VMware company. So with these quotes, which are very relevant for today's talk, which is all data management, I'm talking about data. So data is very precious and lasts longer, and which is a new science. So this will be three takeaways from this slide. So what is that? Which is precious? Data is precious thing, lasts longer, and it is a new science. Great. So then what could be the objectives of this presentation? Learners would be able to understand. Yeah, the need of data management in the business environment, the spectrum of data management and its importance, data generation, formats, storage, processing, governance, and architectures. So in the end of these presentations, I request I Now I aspire that my learners would be able to understand what is the need of data management in the business environment, what is the spectrum of data management and its importance, how the data is generated, what are the different formats, how are we trying to store it, how are you trying to process it, what is the governing mechanism, and what are the architectures which are available. These are all the objectives of the session. Agenda goes like this. First, data management. Try to understand what is data management spectrum. Then we'll try to understand how data is generated. We'll see different types of data which are generated from the systems around us. Then we'll see how much data is created on the internet each day. What are the activities that will happen in the internet each day, every day? What what kind of activities will happen? We'll see. Then data created by the Internet of Things. So since IoT is, I also saw in the agenda that there is, one of our colleague by name Dr. Bharati Malak Reddy, she is talking about Internet of Things. So obviously this data is created because of this Internet of Things. We'll see few of the tools like data management tools. In the data management tools, there are 6 different categories. That is cloud data management tools, ETL tools, data transformation tools, master data management tools, reference data management tools, data visualization and data analytics tools. Then which are all the job titles which are very relevant to the data management? Then what is the job description which are needed for the data management? Then we'll try to conclude. So in this entire agenda, I have classified into 2 sessions. The first session is on today, which is now, which I'm talking on 8th June. The second session is on 12th. Probably I'll be continuing whatever I have done today. I request that all the participants to be in a sync and all that. Okay, good. So with this, now let us move on to the brief introduction about what is data management. You all know that data management is the implementation of policies and procedures that put organizations in control of their businesses data regardless of where it resides. This is very important. What is data management? Data management is the implementation of policies and procedures that put organizations in control of their business data. So any companies can control their business data regardless where it resides. A person, a methodology, a processes, a strategies for controlling their data is about data management. Managing digital data in an organization involves broad range of tasks, policies, procedures, and practices. Every company to their specific company specific policies, procedures, practices will be implemented to ensure that they implement this data management very effectively. The work of data management has a wide scope covering factors such as such as such as such as the work of data management is a wide scope covering factors such as how there is some delay in the animated sentences. Please bear with me, probably because of low internet connectivity, I guess. Because host is in Chikodi, I am trying to share from here. I think because of that, I guess. Yeah, we'll just see. Not a problem, don't worry. It's all born to happen because we all should. Oh, yeah, create access and update data across a diverse data tier, store data across multiple clouds on premises, provide high availability and disaster recovery, use data in a growing variety of apps, analytics, and algorithms, ensure data privacy and security, archive and destroy data in accordance with retention schedules and compliance requirements. Again, I wanted to stress you that uh, data management plays a very important role for any organization where we are trying to implement variety of policies and procedures which control their business data. Managing digital data in an organization involves broad range of tasks, policies, procedures, and practices. The work of data management has a wide scope covering factors such as how to create, access, update data across a diverse data tier, store data across multiple clouds and on premises, provide high availability and disaster recovery, use data in a growing variety of apps, analytics, and algorithms, ensure data privacy and security, archive and destroy data in accordance with retention schedules and compliance requirement. So it is the process of controlling or dealing with the data. What is data management? Data management is the process of controlling or dealing with the data. Is nothing but your data management. We wanted a lot of manpower to do this data management. Who will generate manpower? Who will create manpower? A colleges like us, like professional colleges, like science colleges, like BCA colleges, like MCA colleges, where we create manpower. Unless until we educate, unless until we raise our bar, what is needed for an industry, we cannot develop the manpower. So all of us are involved in learning process so that we can make our student community to elevate, so that we can make them employable. So with that connection, data management is one of the important aspect in industry, so that people can fit into their job profiles. What is data management? Data management is the process of controlling or dealing with the data. With this now let us move on to data management spectrum. Now I think you can see that data management spectrum as data governance, data architecture, data modeling and design, database and storage management, data security, reference and master data, data integration and interoperability, document and content, data warehousing and business intelligence, metadata, and data quality. Yes, there are 11 numbers which you all can see. One second, hold on me, bear with me. So probably what I'll do, I'll take the drawing tool so that I'll remove this. I don't know why this is coming. I think this should not come. Because this will retain for till the end of the presentation, which disturbs us. So that I'll clear it. Where is this? Erase all drawings. Okay, good. Erase all drawings. Now I'll come back. Yeah, we have data governance. What is data governance? Data governance has data asset, data governance, data stewardship, and data ethics. Data assets is the data that is expected to generate future revenues. Then only we call it as asset. We always say that is an asset. So that human resource is an asset. We say that So data should generate revenue for us. Data should generate revenue for us. That is called as data asset. Data governance. Data governance is the process of managing the availability, usability, integrity, and security of the data. This is all about your data governance. We call it as e-governance, right? Similarly, it is data governance. Next is data steward. Data steward is the role within an organization who is responsible for utilizing organization's data governing process to ensure that data is fit for the purpose. Again, I'm repeating, data steward is the validating the data is fit for use. What is data steward? Data steward is the process of validating the data for the fitness. This is called as data steward. A person who is responsible to do that, we call it a data stewardship. And data ethics. Data ethics is nothing but which is responsible and which is sustainable for the use. That is called as data ethics. Now we have data architectures and data flows. So what is architecture? Architecture is nothing but the arrangement of different components of a system and ensure that every component should work accordingly in an organized manner. We call it as data architecture. So that is also supported by flows. What is that flow? First stage has been moved to the second stage, then from third stage and all that. This is we called as architecture. Next, we have data modeling and design, where we basically using the concept of ER modeling and UML modeling and multidimensional modeling, we are going to model the databases. Next, so databases and storage maintenance. So where we see whether we can maintain the data, and we can see database administration, where we can see database management system, where we can see business continuity planning. All these things put together, we call it as database and storage management. Next one is security aspect, where we see how data is accessed properly. Then we also see how data erasure should happen, how data privacy should happen, how data security should happen. Next, then we'll see what is reference and master data management. So data integration, master data management, and reference data management. See, reference and master data management always play a very vital role when you're trying to test. I wanted to test one application which is newly built. I don't have my historical data for a scenarios. What I'll do, I wanted to generate myself. I wanted to have a reference data to check my application is working fine or not. This is called as a reference data and master data management. So there is one very famous tool in the market which we called as Optim from an IBM. So for any of the new businesses which they wanted to validate, they're using the data for the data generation to fit their scenarios. Next, we have data integration and interoperability. So how exactly data has been moved from different environment to different environment? How is that compatibility, interoperability, and all that have been handled? Next, documents and content. So how are you trying to do document management system and record management system? Next one is data warehousing and business intelligence. So what is business intelligence? What is intelligence? Intelligence is nothing but deriving the new facts from the known facts. So suppose if you are trying to derive the new facts from the known facts, for an artificial purpose we call it as artificial intelligence. For a business we call it as business intelligence. So that can be done using your data analysis and data mining and data warehouse and data marts. So metadata management is one of the important aspect, where we call it as data about data is called as metadata, where we know metadata management, metadata discovery, metadata publishing, metadata registry, and all that. Next, we have data quality, which is very important, where I did my research on this data quality, which talks about data cleansing, data integrity, data enrichment, data quality assurance, and secondary data, and all that. So these are certain things which we will be discussing in a data management spectrum. Madam, session lidine, I'll call you back. Yeah. So data management spectrum. So all this, if you see this, probably you will understand how exactly you wanted to focus going forward, that to how can we handle the data, whether I want to play a vital role in data governance or architecture side or modeling side or database and storage management or security side or reference data management or data integration or document and content management or data warehousing and business intelligence or metadata management or data quality. So this is a different variety of data management spectrum which is available, where we wanted to disseminate this knowledge to our student community, because they are the end users where they are going and working in a industry. So we want to ensure that their knowledge will be elevated in terms of understanding the need of data management. Next, how is this data is generated? From the business enterprise point of view, data is generated from variety of ways. One is point of sale. So where, for example, there are a lot of outlets. Example, I'll take an example of Big Bazaar. So Big Bazaar has different outlets at different cities. Within city we have different outlets and all that. So every an outlet will have, we call it as point of sale. So that is the place where the data gets generated. That is called as point of sale. And for any business environment, we'll have a feedback systems, we'll have a comments, then we'll have inventory system, then we'll have financial systems, then we'll have book accounts, then we'll have bank accounts, then we'll have blogs, then we'll have reviews, then we'll have market research reports, then we have product reviews and brand reviews, then we have sales report, then we have inward and outward of ledgers, then we have certifications from statutory bodies, then we have permissions from government agencies, then we have power bills, then we have asset management and many more. Please understand, my dear audience, listeners, from business enterprise point of view, data is generated from all of this, which is not limited to all of this, which are not limited to again. So from all these sources, data is generated in a business ecosystem. So please understand. So in a business ecosystem, data is generated from nook and corner, nook and corner. So now once the data gets generated, how do you handle that? Whether business ecosystem has the systems in place so that I can handle the data for my internal use and external use, internal use and external use. So this is very important because why I'm telling, unless until you have data, your job is guaranteed from the job perspective. If you're an expert, if you're a subject matter expert in any of the data management spectrum areas, your job is guaranteed for longer time and lifelong. Why? Because you are an expert in that one. Example, if I say data security, you are an expert in data security handling. If you're an expert in data governance, yes, your job is guaranteed. Why? Because data will be there in any company. If you go for any company, data will be there. How do you, if suppose if you come from a data governance perspective, your job is guaranteed. So you can do a lot of freelancing jobs, and you can go as an employer, or you can start your own services from that particular domain. So this is where one person should understand what is the importance of data. How do you handle that? How do you handle that? So this is how data is generated from the business ecosystems, from the business ecosystems. With this, what kind different types of data it is generated? Now till now you understood what is data management. So what is the different spectrum of data management? Then you people, you have seen how in the business ecosystem data is getting generated. Now what type of data it is getting generated is important. Data is getting generated can be classified into structured, unstructured, semi-structured, and metadata. Now suppose now data is getting generated from a blog. What type of data it is? How do I handle? Now data is getting generated from the reviews. What type of data it is? How can I handle? Now I am getting generated from accounts, my tally. I am getting data from my tally system. How I'm trying to handle? Now I'm trying to get my data from an ERP. Now I'm trying to get my employee portal on some data. I'm trying to get my internal portal, internal website. I'm getting some data. How do I handle? What type of data it is? So very important. Now that type of data can be categorized broadly into 4 types. Again, basically there are 3 types. One is subtype: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. And we have metadata management. What is structured? Structured data conforms to a tabular format with the relationship between the different rows and columns. So we have a structure, we have a tabular form, so that we'll have proper rows and columns. Common examples of structured data are Excel files or SQL databases. SQL databases. Each of these have structured rows and columns that can be stored. Structured. I have a proper structure. I have rows and columns. Suppose I wanted to get third row, fourth column. So what is the data there? Just pick and display it. Okay. Next, what is unstructured data? Unstructured data is information that either does not have a predefined data model. See, in structured, we will use a data model. Example, to design, we'll use ER model and all that. So here we don't have predefined data models, or is not organized in a predefined manner. Unstructured information is typically text heavy. What is unstructured information? Unstructured information is typically text heavy, but may contain data such as dates, numbers, and facts as well. This results in irregularities and ambiguities that make it difficult to understand using traditional programs as compared to data stored in structured databases. So because of these irregularities and ambiguities, so how do we handle these irregularities and ambiguities? Important. Now, some of the common examples of unstructured data includes your audio, video, and NoSQL databases. Audio, video, and NoSQL databases. Again, we have other type called as semi-structured, which is an hybrid model, which is combination of structured and semi-structured, structured and unstructured. Semi-structured data is a form of structured data that does not conform with the formal structure of the data models associated with the relational databases or other forms of data tables, but nonetheless contain tags or other markers to separate semantic elements and enforce hierarchies of records and fields within the data. Therefore, it is also known as self-describing structure. Example, your JSON file and XML files are the examples for your semi-structured data. JSON file and XML files are the examples for your semi-structured data. So we have metadata. Metadata, last category of data type is metadata. From a technical point of view, this is not a separate data structure. I said this is not a separate data structure, but it is only one of the most important elements for big data analysis and big data solutions. Metadata is all about data. It provides additional information about a specific set of data. Example, in Oracle database, we can see that all underscore tables and a catalog. So what catalog will have, what all underscore tables will have, or what all underscore synonyms will have, all underscore clusters will have, because those tables, the which we call it as catalogs, which stores the data about data, we call it as metadata management. Okay, till now example, before I move on to the next slide, till now I want to reiterate, you people have understood what is the formal definition of data management. What is formal definition of data management? Data management is the process of controlling or dealing with the data. What is data management? Data management is the process of controlling or dealing with the data. Next, in the data management, we have a different spectrum of data management, starting from your data governance, your data security, your master data management, reference data management, your business intelligence and data warehousing and data security. Lot of things, varieties are there, which is a spectrum. Next, using so data is getting generated in a business environment from various ways. We told point of sale, we told book accounts, we told financial statements, we said employee database, we said the variety of ways the data is getting generated. Yes. Next, what type of data which gets generated in a business ecosystem? So predominantly there are three types of data which is getting generated. One is structured, semi-structured, and unstructured, and the last one is your metadata management. So till here I think it's very clear. Next we'll move on to the next slide, called as icons used in different types of data. You should be able to understand. Structured icon is like this. See, you will have a tabular rows and columns. Unstructured, we have textual data, image, video, and audio is called as unstructured. Semi-structured is XML, JSON, where we have syntax, XML tags or JSON tags and all that. Then metadata management is what? Which is which talks about data. So this is another way of representation, or using icons, different icons for different types of data: structured, semi-structured, unstructured. I think till here, I think audience are very clear what we have done, what we have learned. Next, we talk about how much data is created on the internet each day. Very, very important. So this I took it from last year, one of the review which is available from a company called as Splunk Technology, which is said by, this article is written by a vice president of Splunk Technology by name called as Jeff Schultz. So he says like this: the amount of data created each day on the internet in 2019, what will happen? You just see that in 2004 there were 2.4 billion internet users. 2.4 billion internet users in 2014. In 2014 there were 2.4 billion internet users. That number grew to 3.4 billion by 2016, and 2017 it grew to 300 million internet users were added. See, my dear audience, so 2014 there were 2.4 billion users, internet users. So next, slowly by 2016 it grew up to 3.4 billion. In 2017 it grew up to 300 million users. Next, internet users, you just see that as of June 2019, last year, there were 4.4 billion internet users. I think in 2017 it is 300 million, billion, not million, it is billion. So as of June last year, this time there are 4.4 billion internet users. So there is a 83% increase in the number of people who are using internet in just 5 years. Just 5 years. Then think about the kind of operations, the kind of business environment, the kind of ecosystem which are completely moving it onto internet. Without internet, suppose if you say internet without cloud, can you think an internet? No. For doing any business, can you imagine without the cloud setup? Can you do an business? No. So I'm just again stressing few words. So one is data management, the other one is on cloud. The data management can be done on the standalone system or onto the cloud. But since because 83% there is an increase in number of internet users, so predominantly by this time it would have been 93 94%, or probably it might be 100%. I think because of this COVID pandemic, probably 100%. So there is everybody uses internet because of one or the other activity. So in the last just 5-6 years it got increased predominantly because of this bandwidth generation, because of 4G 5G. Now people are talking about 5G. Now a lot of research work is going on 6G and all that. Okay, just see how is this it is getting revolved. Data is getting bombarded into the systems in and around us every minute, every day, and all that. See that. So not only are there more people using internet, but they are using it in many different ways, because every person requirements are different. So every person is using internet for their requirements, because educationists we use requirement for online classes, online assessments. For a lot of people they use internet for banking purpose, a lot of people they use for trading purpose. So based on their requirement they will be using the internet. You just see that in 2025 estimated, in 2025, so 263 billion GB per day it gets generated. Now in 2016 it was 44 billion GB per day it was generating it. But now probably by 2025 463 billion GBs per day it gets generated. So much of data it's generated that will fall under structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Then how do you store, how do you handle, how much manpower you needed? So you think about what is the spectrum of data management, then how do you give the security and how do you give privacy and all that. This is where definitely this should be taught as a separate course, if I want to say. So from the engineering point of view, we are proposing we want to have one BA program only for the data management, because so much of importance is coming for this data management. See, my business is getting data, example per day 463 billion GB of data is getting generated. If I don't understand how to handle them and how to use it, if I don't know how to make it as an asset, then then it's simply waste. Then simply waste. So this is where a lot of manpower is needed in this particular spectrum. I request, since we are all faculty members, we should understand what is the importance of data management. How can we elevate our student community to take few jobs specifically in this particular spectrum. Next, what will happen each minute of every day, what will happen on an internet? We'll just see. I think I have a story here. I think I want you all people to listen a story here. So each minute of every day, what will happen on the internet? You just see that since 2013, the number of tweets, Twitter, each minute has increased 58% to more than 4,000. I mean, it is for how much? 4,74,000 tweets. 4,74,000 tweets per minute in 2019. So last year per minute, if you can see 4,74 tweets per minute. Probably in 2019 this would have been doubled because of because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So this is the power of internet. This is the power of internet. YouTube usage more than tripled from 2014 to 16, with users uploading 400 hours of new videos each minute of every day. 400 hours of new video, 400 hours of new video each minute of every day. In 2019, users are watching. See how, what is the number? Huh? So it is 4 crore 33,000, 43 crores. I think it is 4.3 crores videos every minute. See how, what is the watching? Some because of this COVID-19 pandemic. If you see that, see our college itself has generated from last 1.5 months to 2 months around 7,000 videos. Think about how many colleges there are. 1 lakh colleges are there, that too professional colleges. Think about arts, science, everybody is generating videos. We have a Gnananidhi channel, lot of channels are available. Apart from this, there are a lot of academics where they have their own YouTube channels. There are a lot of training institutes where they have a lot of YouTube channels. Then what we will do with so much of data? Then how do you handle if you don't have frameworks, if you don't have architectures, proper architectures, if you don't have space, if you don't have the cloud management system, then it is a waste. So you have a data, you should convert into an asset. I always say that. So you are knowledgeable, so are you converting this knowledge into your money factor? No. If you are not doing that, then you are not there. So always you should see that I am a wisdom, I am knowledgeable. How much are you converting into your if I want to say remunerated and all that? Okay, so this is what it's all boiled down to your business. So 300 hours of videos are uploaded to YouTube every minute. Instagram users upload over 100 million photos and videos every day. I think it's not over day, it's every day. That is so much, million posts every minute. 1 second, hold on. I think my system got, what happened? I think somebody. 1 second, hold on. I think, yeah. Users spend nearly 1 hour a day on Facebook, but Instagram and Snapchat are quickly catching up. I think, because people are moving towards Instagram and Snapchat and all that. Since 2013, the number of Facebook posts shared every minute has increased 22% from 2.5. Ten thousand comments are posted. Hello? People are able to listen? People are there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can I continue?
Yeah,
Great,
continue,
great.
sir.
So every minute on Facebook, 5,10,000 comments are posted, 2,93,000 statuses are updated, and 1,36,000 photos are uploaded. So this is the statistics as on 2016. Now think about today. I think because of this COVID pandemic, everybody would have been hanging over on the Facebook, on the social media, by and large. Okay. Then there are over 38,000 status updates on Facebook every minute. Facebook users also click the like button on more than 4 million posts every minute, and the Facebook like button has been pressed 13 trillion times. 13 trillion times per day. Think about 13 trillion is a very big number. Over 3.5 billion Google searches are conducted worldwide each minute of every day. That is 2 trillion searches per year worldwide. That is over 40,000 search queries per second. So worldwide, over 100 million messages are sent every minute via SMS and in app messages. 26 billion texts were sent each day by 27 million people in the US. That is 94 texts per day per person in US in 2017. See that. How do we handle the data generated which benefits the business? Is my question. I'm just takeaway of this slide is so much of data is getting generated either for your business or for your personal. So how are you converting that personal to your business? do you handle the generated which benefits the business is question mark, which is happening in the internet every minute, which is happening in the internet every minute. Now data created by the internet of things, because you know that internet of things is a buzzword now. Everything people are talking about industry 4.0, smart factories, smart cities, whatever you talk, it's all smart. Smart watches, you know, lot everything has become now becoming now smart. How is this smart is enabled? Smart is enabled because of your internet of things. So what is internet of things? So the name itself indicates, if a device is connected to an internet, we call it internet of things, nothing else. If a device is connected to an internet, we call it as internet of things. So what the device will do? The device will do certain activity. So through that internet, we are trying to message pass the information, or dump the data into it. So this, how this is happening, data is created by the internet of things. I'll just see one sample story like that. Devices are huge source of 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. You think about quintillion bytes, you know, it is KB to MB, MB to GB, GB to TB, TB to QB, which is quintillion bytes. So 2.5 quintillion bytes of data were created every day, not just mobile devices, but smart TVs. If you can see your now MI TV, everything is now smart. Smart TVs, cars, airplanes, you name it. The Internet of Things is producing an increasing amount of data every second, every second. Now, a research firm in US, which is an IDC, forecasts a 3% growth in wearable devices from 2018 to 2021. There were 28.3 million wearable devices sold in 2016, and estimates that 198 million will be sold in 2019. I think it's sold. So a 600% increase in just 3 years. This is the beauty of Internet of Things. This is where, this is another area where people wanted to we want to educate our students. Internet of Things, plenty of opportunities are coming up. Why? Because how can I do a Raspberry Pi programming? How can I do the other the chip programming, so that I can program a chip, so that which becomes a smart, which becomes a smart. Which all sensor based, now. In last 3 years, there is 600% increase in just 3 years because of this internet of things. Because of this internet of things, smart watches were 44.2% of the wearable market in 2019, and that is anticipated to increase to 47% by 2023, by 2023, which is coming probably next another 2-3 years. Because of this COVID pandemic, probably 1% might decrease, or there will be a increase. Between 2016 and 22, IoT devices are expected to increase at a rate of 21%, driven by new use cases. Because again, I'm stressing, my dear listeners and audience, so IoT is another important area which self-sustain itself, so that we wanted to educate our student community, where they can enhance their competency, they can enhance their knowledge and technology associated with the Internet of Things. In 2018, mobile phones are expected to be surpassed in numbers by IoT devices, which includes connected cars, missions, meters, wearables, and other consumer electronics. Now, there is one company called as Pratt and Whitney Gear turbo fan engine is fitted with 5,000 sensors and can generate up to 10 GB of data each second. Think about a second, for 1 second, 10 GB of data is getting generated only from the turbo fan, which is called as Pratt and Whitney's Gear turbofan engine, which is fitted with 5,000 sensors and can generate up to 10 GB of data each second. How I am going to handle that huge amount of data if I don't have right human skilled person to handle, to program, to interpret, to generate report? Then it's a waste. It's a liability. Why I wanted to store it? Okay, I wanted to push it across. Okay, now Why I'm stressing again, that is the value, that is called as data asset. How do you convert a data to an asset is very important. That is where your CIO, we call it as Chief Information Officer of any organization, plays a very vital role for any organization. CIO, that is Chief Information Officer. So they've been paid very high because their job is to only interrelate the data and convert data into an asset is their job predominantly. Uber is releasing 6 years of transportation data to cities to help them plan public transit. So Business Insiders predicts that by 2020, 70%, 75% of cars will come with built-in IoT connectivity. Probably if you can go to, in Ola, Uber and all that, they have a device that, they'll give free Wi-Fi. You can play your, Ola songs and all that. This is where, and they can also track where is this vehicle is going on, because all GPS enabled and all that, because it has become now smart. So whatever you say, it's all internet based. So again, I'm telling you, my dear students, so my dear audience, IoT plays a very important role. Because of this IoT, lot of L amount of data is getting generated. So how do you handle the data? How do you architect them? How do you, deploy them? How do you clean them? How do you convert into an asset? How do you govern them is important. This is where your data management plays a very important role in today's IT market, which is a separate market itself from now. I'm telling you, because of this, because of IoT explosion, because of your internet explosion, because of your whatever you call it as smart. So because of all these things, huge amount of data is getting generated. I'm telling you, market will take in a different directions. We wanted a different kind of manpower which can solve their problems in real time, which can solve their problems in a real time. With this, using IoT, huge volume of data is generated. How do we handle is a question mark. Again, I'm leaving that. So how do we handle? So which is again a problem of concern, problem of concern for the entire society as a whole. Now, the growth in data generating services. Again, there is a small story. I'm going to narrate it. So see that the growth in data and the way it can used is also changing the way businesses is being done, and the services that the organization can offer due to an enhanced ability to produce, capture, and understand data. I wanted to highlight you that because of this internet, every organization has changed the strategy of doing their businesses. Because of this internet, because of the concept of smart, because of the concept of IoT, every person has changed the way they do the businesses. Because once every business has been moved to the digital, this is where our Narendra Modi ji is talking about digital India, skill India, digital India, skill India. So now we want to move to digital India, we wanted to skilled people. Then how do you enhance the skill set to make digital India? So everything is, then it converts into a make in India. It's all a concept basically, it's a chain, it's concept from one input to another input and all that. So I wanted, we all teachers, we want to think more specifically the strategies and what is their priorities and all that. Because I really love that. I really love that. Okay, that's why I'm telling a lot of things for my colleagues here and there, wherever I go for talks and all that. My job is to give, convince them, tell the new ideas, tell the new opportunities. How can you grab those opportunities in coming days? So this is how the world is going to change. So it is our responsibility to ensure that we should make our next generation, which is our student community, ready to catch the problems which are available in the next generation or in the industry. So now Industry 4.0, everybody talking about Industry 4.0, which talks about complete automation. Are we making ready our graduates to catch up the Industry 4.0? I don't know. And second question. Now people are talking about, the US is banning the Chinese companies to trade in US. Yes. Now everybody thinking that we wanted to migrate from, the Chinese people, the companies which are available in China, the other countries companies which are fitted in China, they want to move to India. Whether are we capable? Whether we have a skilled manpower like that, we can handle that. This is a concern. So exactly, who will give the resources? accepts the colleges like us, correct, right? Then we first of all we wanted to give them skilled right people, then we want to ensure that we develop the right people and right skilled manpower to the industry. Yes, with this backdrop, now see, Amazon is dominating the marketplace. Amazon processes 373 million sales every day in 2017 compared to about 120 million Amazon sales in 2014. If you see that percentage, how it varies each month, more than 206 million people around the world get on their devices and visit Amazon website. By end of 2016, Uber had 40 million monthly active users. In 2019, there were 75 million, almost doubled. In how many 3 years? It's just 40 million. Here it is 75 million Uber passengers who are served by total 3.9 million drivers. 14 million Uber trips are completed each day. Venmo is Venmo is similar to our Paytm. Paytm is a payment services which is available in India. Similar to that, Venmo is a payment services which is in America, has 40 million users and processes $68,493 transactions every minute. Every minute, you see that? So how much of data is getting generated? How can I handle those so much of data? Unless until if I don't generate right human resource to handle them, govern them, and convert data into an asset, provide security, provide intelligence, provide visualization, and all that, I cannot do that. So this is where we all people should think and understand the value of data management, converting data into an asset, wisdom, and all that. Good. So every business is generating the data. What do you do with this? So data management play a very vital role. Data management play a very vital role. So yes, so you understood now what is the importance of data management. Good. So with this, now I'm going to talk about data management tools. Probably in another next 10 minutes, I'll wind up my session one. Then we'll take up one or two questions. Then we'll try to wind up today's session. Okay. Data management tools. You all know that data management tools has been broadly classified into 6 classes. First class is called as cloud data management tools built on the cloud. So yes, now we should now see that the cloud is come into picture. Now we should give as a technology to all my students what is cloud. What is cloud? Whether every student of my college has a cloud account, an account in cloud. Example, whether they have an Amazon Web Services cloud account, or they have it in Google Cloud, or they have it in DigitalOcean or Globhost. There are plenty of service providers as a cloud. Whether they have whether they get that feel what is cloud, what is virtual private VPS, what is virtual CPU, what is RAM, so how much RAM is needed, whether it's a dedicated or it's a shared. So where is the suppose if I deploy my application, where this application will run, what is the high availability percentage rate, all that our students should understand. Before students, we faculty members should have that experience. What is private cloud, what is public cloud? So have we set up a separate private cloud for our institution, so that using Open Nebula, the lot of open source tools, so that whether I have developed it, so that I can put it my information into it and see that I can make it available to people who are inside the campus and all that. So that one thing is cloud data management tools built on the cloud. For the cloud, these tools connect to and integrate multiple data sources via APIs. API is another important thing, and webhooks or direct database connections. So one is we wanted to understand the cloud data management tools. That is a separate spectrum. Next one is ETL tools, extraction transformation tools. Helps organizations load data from multiple sources, define complex automated transformations of the data, test the data pipeline, and load data continuously to target databases or data warehouses. Example, I am running a business. I am getting data from around assume on 10 places, 10 from 10 sources. 10 sources are in different formats. Suppose if I have a framework so that I can integrate all my 10 source data and channelize the data, do lot of cleansing and pre-processing activity, and go and put into your target database. This is called as your ETL tools. Next, third one is your data transformation tools. Help with the transformation of raw data into a clean, aggregated, analyzable data as it moves from individual data sources to an analytics warehouse, or within the analytics warehouse, or at the point of analysis. Ultimately, at the end of the day, in any data life cycle, the data ends that life only with the presentation, because I have an X. How I am going to interpret the text? Who will be using that value of X? What is the outcome of X? So this is very important. This is called as data life cycle. X is generated from one place. So this X is moving with my channel, business channel, and will go and put into my visualization or presentation last layer, where I'm going to interpret why this X has come, from where it has come, what is the value of X. Then I'll take a decision. So ultimately it boils down to the arrival of the decisions. Ultimately it boils down to arrival of the decisions. Yes. Next, data management tools continues. So master data management, this is very important. Help visualize complex set of master data across the organizations and facilitate data stewardship. I said right, stewardship is validating the data is correct for usage. What is stewardship? Stewardship is the person who is responsible to validate the data is right for using or not, by subject matter expert who oversees creation and maintenance of reference data. There are tools which can do this. There are tools. Okay, reference data management, that is master data. This is reference data management, RDM. One is MDM, the other one is RDM. Often provided as part of MDM suites, define business processes around reference data and help stakeholders populate reference data and manage it over time. Last one is data visualization and data analytics tools. Helps organizations explore, analyze and visualize big data sets and generate reports and dashboards to extract insights and guide business decisions. So I think probably at this point in time, the next slides is all about the tools. There are few tools which can do the activity of cloud data management tools. There are tools which I'm going to discuss which can do the ETL tools, which can do ETL activities. There are certain tools which can do data transformation. There are tools which can do your master data management. There are tools which can do reference data management. There are tools which can do data visualization and data analytics. Out of this, then what could be the job skill set people will be looking when people want to pursue their career and research and all that? That is one thing. And second thing, so what could be the general job description in the data management? What is the pay structure in the data management? Suppose if you want to continue your career with this, what could be the salary ranges? Then there are certain things which I want to take up, that I will take up in the next session, which is planned on 12th. So with this, if there are queries, one or two, I can answer, or else I think probably I think we can wind up the session. Allur sir, are you there?
Hello, sir. Hello.
I think this is my first session.
Okay, sir.
I think probably if there are one or two questions from the audience, probably I can take up. Or else I wanted to ask how many people are there?
101 participants are there, sir. 101.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I think I want to again reiterate the things which we have done today. We have done
Yes.
we have studied we have seen the importance of data management, and we have seen the data management spectrum, and we have seen the what is happening in the internet every day, and we have seen from our IoT how is data is getting generated. Then how do you interpret data and different types of data? Example, structured, unstructured, semi-structured, and in a business environment, from where and all the data is getting generated, how do you interpret and what is the importance? So this is what we have seen in this session. If I can take one or two questions, then probably we can wind up.
Yes. So you're on the
Over to
camera.
Allur sir for questions.
Sir, you switch on the camera. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Dear participants, if you have any query,
You're able to see?
any questions, please raise your questions.
Good.
Sir is
Thank you.
available now. You can unmute your microphone and ask the question.
How to test data quality? How to test data quality? I am Prakash Haithal from Manipal Institute of Technology. How to test data quality is my question.
Sir, Manjunath sir,
Come again, sir. Come again.
how to test
Come again,
How
sir.
to
What is
test
the question?
data quality? How to test data quality
Very
is
good.
the
Fantastic
question.
question, sir. Fantastic, sir. Fantastic, sir. I will answer your question, sir. How do you test the data quality? See, if you say in the quality, I'll take one example. I have a business scenario. From the source, I have done the ETL. Extraction, transformation, and loaded. From the sources, I have done my pre-processing. I have cleaned the data. I have loaded the data into my data warehouse. Now I wanted to validate the data which is present in a target or which is present in my warehouse. How do I validate my data? In order to do this, a scenario has been given by a business user. Example, business rules will be there. Suppose if this is this, if this is this, if this is this, then this. We will frame separate SQL queries for every scenario. The targeted value which is computed, which is available in the data warehouse, will be compared with the value which we got, where we have manually computed value, and compare it with source and target. If it matches, then we say the data is validated. This is computed values. Or else, suppose if you wanted to, if you are run the job, in source I have 1 million records. It is expected that this 1 million records should go and load into my target. I am going to use a count of this source target table into count of records from the target table, count of records from the source table, count of records from the target table. The target table record and source table records are matching, then my workflow is working. This is one way of testing it. Next, you can also tell me how do you validate. See, now there are two things. One is 101. I am trying to move data as moving from source to target without any modification. I am trying to move the data from source to the target with modification. This we call as derived. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I have clarified your question.
Hello, Manjunath sir.
You. Yeah, please.
This is Venkatesh Kalal from Haveri GH College.
Venkatesh,
So
can you
give me give me more information regarding business intelligence.
Very good, fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Sir, can you go on mute, sir? Yeah, very good. Sir, Venkatesh sir has asked about what is the importance on business intelligence and what is business intelligence. Sir, the intelligence is nothing but deriving the new facts from the known facts. I know certain thing. By knowing the known facts, I am going to derive new facts. This is called as intelligence. Example, I'll take this example. I have results of last 3 years. Using last 3 years, can I predict what could be results which is expected to come next cycle? So this is new intelligence. This is intelligence which are derived from your known facts. What is your known facts? The results which you have with you for the last 3 sessions. Using these 3 sessions of results, you are trying to derive the new what could be is your intelligence. Suppose if once the real results comes and if this is matching, then you say that the modeled or the predicted value is close to 80%, 90%, 95% and all that. This is called as intelligence. Again, I'm recalling, intelligence is the process of deriving the new facts from the known facts. I have a repository of data. Using the repository of data, I am going to find out new. For that, I might use a lot of algorithms, or I might use a lot of technologies or methods or processes which are available. The known one, the hidden parameters, the hidden attributes which I'm going to explore is called as intelligence. If that intelligence is used for my business, we call it as business intelligence. This is all about, sir, business intelligence. So business intelligence and data warehousing goes hand in hand. So data warehousing, which is a warehouse which stores huge amount of data, out of which I am going to find out a hidden pattern out of it. That hidden pattern is called as intelligence, which can be used for decision making or to explore something or to predict something like that, sir. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, sir.
Manchunathan, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Hello, sir. I am Arul from Milagros College. I want to ask
Arul,
you
tell me,
one
sir,
question,
Arul,
sir. Yeah, we
Sir,
know
tell
that
me.
data is growing day by day. Since
Correct.
data growth is going in billions, we can say data is exploding. Data explosion is going on. Actually, where it leads,
Definitely,
where
sir.
we are going, because everything beyond some
But
limit now leads explosion because of the generation of large amount of data. What will be
correct.
in future?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my
Very good.
question
Very
is,
good. Very
what
good.
will
Sir, you go
be
on,
in
but I'll
future?
answer this question. Very good question. Intelligent question from you, Arul.
Yeah, done, sir. Question is done.
Exactly, sir. I will answer your question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You go on mute, sir. I'll answer. Thank you. Yeah. First of all, thanks for Arul sir asking a wonderful question, which is very generic and which is very valid. You all know that, as we all know, data is exploding day by day, minute by minute, second by second. Now, what industries are seeing, their job is to convert return on investment. See, data is getting generated. Now, I wanted to identify the new requirements of this COVID-19 pandemic. How can I find out new requirements to produce a product? Correct, right? Their ultimate is they wanted to use this data to make their businesses. Arul sir question, sir, where will go and head? Definitely will, this will be there. I read one article probably in 3-4 months back. Suppose if next world war will happen, suppose if people guesses that will happen only for the data. So this is where I just read an article which is said by one of CEO. This will never stop. This will never end also, because this is which is happening, which is not there in our control as well as anybody's control. Everybody wanted to explore. Everybody wanted to find out the fine tuning, the problem statements. Now people are arriving at data lakes. They're calling it as data lakes. So what they're trying to develop, they are trying to develop a concept called as data lake. Now I have a data. Now I am going and stopping in a lake. Whenever it is needed, I am going to export that, and use according to your requirement and use it. So this will never stop. This definitely day by day will increase, because if you see the concept of smart across the world, hardly 99% is smart. 19%, 19. The remaining 21, not 21, how much is 70, not 70, 81% is yet to become smart. So 81% yet to become smart, or approximately 80%. If you think 80% is yet to become smart, if smart, more amount of data is getting generated. Smart through either IoT or something else. Correct, right? So think about, every person is having smart, whatever we smart watches we restrict, which gives how many steps we walked in, how many the water we had and all that. See, why is that needed actually? Again, they wanted to tailor made the solutions to which can be used by individual users for their benefit. Ultimately, it boils down to the business. Since the data explosion is happening day by day, they wanted to store So because of that reason, every organization is making their own lakes, so they are placing there. It is something like a workshops or where they place the vehicles, right? So that is what they are trying to do. See, this is what it is not there in our control. It is not there in anybody control. If you see the industrial automation, suppose if industry automation comes into picture, industry 4.0. Do you think how much data gets generated from the robots, from the sensors, from the industry IoT, industrial Internet of Things? So it is not there in anybody's control. Then probably we all should adapt for the changes that is happening in and across the globe. So this is what my answer for Arul sir question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thanks, sir. I think if
Is
no
there any
questions are there, can we?
Is there any questions from audience? Probably there are no questions, sir.
If there are no questions, can we wind up, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. In spite of your busy schedule, you agreed to take the session. Thank you very much. We'll wait another 2 days, 3 days for
Yeah.
your next session, and we'll meet again
Yeah.
in the 12th afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Sir, before we continue with the 12th session, I'll prepare a small
Yes.
quiz. I request I'll send it across to you so that you
Yes.
send it to participants so that let them give that quiz.
Yes.
We'll take it up. Okay.
Yes, sir. Done, sir. Done, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm leaving the meeting. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye. Thanks. Bye bye.